Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Does thinking you're the last sane man on the face of the earth make you crazy?
You want to hold her?
Yes.
Please?
Yes.
Then you got to try a little tenderness.
When you want to talk sports, you ask folks who have seen it all up close. So on The Al Travis Show, we go with the guys at the end of the bench. Time to talk all things sports.
I can't thank John enough for being on the program. Inside baseball, it never goes as smoothly as we hope. John, thanks for being here.
You betcha. Good morning.
You're the only human that I've allowed to use the excuse, the horse is out of the barn, I might be late, because I get the feeling you mean it. Okay, you have what kind of farm? How big a farm you got, John?
We got 20 acres.
Okay.
So it's like a hobby farm.
Fair enough. How many horses?
Well, we're just one. I
Okay.
mean, in our heyday, back in the double O's, wife was boarding and doing lessons, and
All right.
so we might have 6 or 8 around here.
Okay.
A trailer and the whole 9 yards.
Sure.
Some health issues made her step away from that some, and so, the people left, and then as horses got older, we got rid of them, and then this one is a papered horse. I mean, so it's, legit.
It's got some parents.
It's got some parents. It's
Okay.
a show horse. And she kept it. We kept one other show horse we had, and that one died a couple years ago, and then this one's just been solo, and I sort of subtly suggested that, maybe he would be fun, better off with some other horses somewhere, but no. Like a big dog, can't let him go.
But like a big dog, but I'm not sure. I think this is the second, maybe third time in the years we've done this that the horse has gotten out. If it's the same horse or not. But does he just get bored? Is he jumping fences? Do you just not hook the gate? How does a horse get out? Of course.
It's a little of both.
Okay.
We use electric fencing.
Okay.
So he's smart enough to respect the fencing, but if the fencing comes down, and sometimes the connectors, plastic connectors
Sure.
I use, they've snapped in the cold, or
Sure.
the deer that jump over catch them,
Yeah.
and the deer can pull the fence down. That's happened a couple of times.
And then where does he just head off to? He goes, hey, I can escape. Great. Where does he heading to?
Oh, he heads right down the driveway and onto the dirt road.
Looking for anything in particular? I mean, you found him already. Thank goodness we got the horse already. But he's just mingling around. I mean, just greener pastures across the road.
There's a place across the highway where he used to go because he was boarded there once.
Okay.
And he went there a couple times. About 3 years ago, he went there, I think, 2 or 3 times.
All right.
We had a really problem with the fence. And they got kind of mad about it, so I told him, don't go over there anymore, and he hasn't gone over there anymore.
Fair enough.
Since he's gone
I'm glad the horse is back, but that's just funny. Here we're sitting, we're ready to go on, and John's like, I might be a little late, and then I get, hey, I got the horse. We're back. Okay, just in time. Appreciate you being here.
Hey.
Let's talk Minnesota Timberwolves if we can.
Yes, sir.
I want to go back to the game on Saturday. 42-point blowout. Literally, we could not miss the bucket, and they couldn't make a bucket. This game was over. I mean, you could tell this game was over in a heartbeat. I was actually hoping myself that it was at least a decent enough game. I went to bed after 3 quarters. There was no reason to stay up. Your thoughts on the Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota Timberwolves game, what would that be, game 3?
Well, that was probably one of their singular best performances of all time, playoffs or regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, what a complete game.
Yeah, the defense was there.
They shut down the MVP. I mean, there was hardly a time when they were ahead by less than 30 points.
Yeah, in this, you talk about their MVP. So Shea gets 14 points, that's it. Williams, the second guy, gets 13. Chet Holmgren's 10. That was their big scores for the night. You're absolutely right. They shut them down. On the other hand, Randall had 24. Anthony had, 30. And they only played half the game. It was so far over, they pulled out. So it was a dominating performance. Then to bring us back to reality, it was kind of funny. I had some friends, once that game was over, literally text me, Minnesota wins this in 6. Like, we're going to go on a 4-game winning. You could not. We figured it out.
I think I was one of those people.
I think you were. I thought his horse is out of the barn, in figurative speaking. Then yesterday happens. Last night's game was a good game in that it was. I think 11 was the most that the Thunder was ever ahead. I don't know that we were. That was tied at 79. But for the most part, they go up 9. Minnesota bring it back down to 4. It was really lying at about a 5-point ball game throughout until there were like 16 seconds left. Then it's all the weird stuff.
They were in the game the whole way.
Yep,
they were. And I was in some of the first half, and I thought, okay, this is fine. Hang around. Because those other 2 games, they had great first halves and led going in, and then came out with those third quarter clunkers. And I thought, if they're within 5 or 6 at the half, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but it's how they get there. I hear what you're saying, and I thought we really had a chance. We were down 8 points at the half, and Ant had only shot twice.
Right.
That makes no sense to me. They were ripping them like nobody's business on the TNT scoreboard, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But if you're down only 8 points and your best player has yet to even put up any real shots, I'm thinking there's something here. But in reality, until this thing was pretty much over, Ant scored a total of 16 points. The Julius Randle, you look at the number 1 and 2 guys, Julius Randle had 5.
Yeah.
And that's where we lose this. Now, other guys had to step up, but you look at our two best guys, and you look at theirs, Shea and Jalen, they had 74 points amongst themselves. We had 21 with our 2 best guys. That's where you lost the game.
It is. They got to bring it every night. There isn't a room in the playoffs to have an off game.
100%.
You might get away with one player being, half there, but when you got your 2 big guns and they're both down there, there's no way.
Yeah.
Now they may win one more game of this series. They're competitive enough, and they might do it, but.
You don't see them winning 3. They'd have to win 3 in a row now and against this team.
No.
And what do you think? I rip on Rudy a little bit. I was having some go around. He had a better game offensively, 13 points, but he had 9 rebounds.
Yep.
Their team had 19 offensive rebounds. That's where Rudy's set down. He's got his feet planted, and they manhandle him. I'm sorry, 19 offensive rebounds. You can say a couple of weird bounces. I'll give you that. But comparatively so. Minnesota, what do they have?
18. Protect that ball.
You have to. And the turnovers were ridiculous. I think it was almost 30 turnovers for Minnesota. I'm trying to bring that up.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
21 turnovers. And now this team will force you to turn over. They were pushing that ball. They kept getting it out of Ant's hand. The coaching for OKC got his folks motivated. I think an embarrassment. You know what? I don't know if you don't dog that last game instead of win by 43. You just take it to 25 so they have some face. Because they came out and they were going to play. And they came out playing hard. The coach had a good plan. Ant says that he likes our plan. It just didn't work out with some of the openings. I didn't like ours. I didn't like ours at all in that you were begging guys we don't even know. Nicholas Alexander came out and got you 23. You can't hope for that on a daily basis. That can't be how your team wins.
Right.
So what do you do?
There isn't anything left to do. I mean, this isn't on the coach, okay?
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's and you can argue the nuances of his plan.
Yep.
But regardless of how you look at yesterday's game, they were in it right up until the end. It was only a 2-point loss.
Yeah.
So, he can't be out there on the floor. It would be different if and we lost by 2, and then you might go, okay, what was the coach doing here?
Yeah.
Everybody was playing well. Did he call the wrong play? Did he have the wrong matchup?
Let me ask you about this. Mike Conley's in there, another 6-point game. He gets his once in a while, a couple 3-pointers. But they put this Shannon Jr. in, Terrence Shannon Jr. Yeah. He's starting to get some minutes. He got 9 points in the time that he's in. I get you want the veteran leadership. That all sounds good. But maybe with a team like what we're playing, you need that young, fast gun in there. I'm saying empty your bench a little bit.
It's not a bad idea, especially at this point.
Yeah, what do you? Yeah.
Because really, you're playing for the future as much as now.
Yeah.
So this guy's young, and he's probably potentially one of the future stars.
Well, it could be pretty tough for us come Wednesday, the next game we play. Your thoughts? We go back to OKC, and we play, of course, at 7:30. I like the start times anyway. At least we get some decent time. 7:30. Can Minnesota win one there and bring this back home?
They can. It's tough. I mean,
you got your last $100. How much do you put on them winning? Yeah. No, that's where it comes out. If it was your check, are you going to bet it against the Thunder winning at home in front of their own crowd?
Realistically speaking, yeah, but the homie in me says, "Oh, come on, Minnesota, you can do it."
Yeah. And if you do, then there's that chance we could win one back here and make it a Game 7. I don't know. I just don't see. I don't know how we can beat them. They're going to win another game and win the thing. When it happens, I don't know. I don't think we can beat them 3 games in a row.
Go another game.
Yeah.
Instead of OKC in 5, that would be really disappointing. But
agreed.
It's a tough place to play in the playoffs, and there's a reason OKC is the best record.
I think that's absolutely true. We got to go to break. We got another great team to talk about, the Minnesota Twins. We do that next with John on the Al Travis Show.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul, but who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
The Al Travis Show, the last place you can go and hear all sides. Respectful, thoughtful, and grateful.
We've got him, John, from the end of the bench, talking some Major League Baseball and your Minnesota Twins. Twins on a 2-game losing streak. I don't know if it shouldn't even sound that bad. They took 2 out of 3 against Kansas City, lost yesterday. I want to ask you, I got to stop. So watch as much Twins as I can, and I want to say it was on Sunday. I get days mixed up anymore. Last game against Kansas City. Tight ball game. I go out the garage doing some work. I've got it on. And it gets all tied up, and they did something. Minnesota's about 50-50 when it comes to 10th inning ball games. Get a guy on. They score a run without actually getting a legit hit. It was an unearned run, and then Minnesota can't bring it in. They get that loss. I still think this team is playing great, John. What are your thoughts on your Minnesota Twins?
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about that one at all.
Okay.
They're playing great ball, and they lost last night, too, to Tampa Bay, but I don't, primarily that was one reliever who just tanked at the end of the game. So I think we touched on this last week. There's a lot of, unsung heroes on this team. These guys are kind of new faces that were just sort of bargain bin pickups, and that's nothing against the guys, but weren't expected to be impactful, but they are.
Yeah.
You got Clemens in there, and Bader in there, and France in there, and this, what's that other guy's name? I can't remember. Bert?
Clemens?
No, the guy with the short name.
No.
Well, anyway.
All right. I can look it up real quick.
I think they're playing so well because there's no expectation on them, and they're just out there having fun and playing the game.
Is it Lee?
Because nobody expected anything out of them. So they just go up there without any stress or pressure and just hit away.
Yeah.
And even Correa, he's back now, and he's hit a couple of dingers since he's been back. That's really nice to see. The one was the game winner.
Yeah.
And he put himself in a position to score in that other game, too.
What keeps this out of me, John, is this AL Central. You look all the way to Kansas City, which is 6 games out and 1 to, fourth place. They would be in second place in the East, and they would be in first place in the West. Our fourth best team, record-wise, would be in first place in the West, second in the East.
Yeah. Remember a couple of years ago, the joke was, well, it's, the Central, it's whoever doesn't want it ends up winning because we were all so bad.
Yeah.
And we were like the laughing stock of all the major leagues. And now here we are at the top.
Oh.
You've got 4 teams potentially of playoff caliber.
Yeah. And right now, 4 teams are getting, and you're absolutely right. And Detroit at 35-20 actually has the best record in all of Major League Baseball. So there are good ball teams to be had here. So before I let you go, John, Tampa Bay again, another decent team, 27-win team. We play them again tonight and tomorrow. Do we take 2 out of 3? Are they able to pull this thing back after losing the first one?
I think they can. I know it's on the road. Tampa Bay's not bad. They're playing in that funky ballpark down there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
I'm going to go with the guys playing well, and I'm going to say they get to do it.
All right. I think Ryan can do that for us today. Tomorrow will be interesting with Lopez on a getaway game. But I appreciate you, John. Thank you for, and I presume this isn't a euphemism. Thanks for putting the horse back in the barn and coming and doing the program with us. I appreciate you, my friend.
Anytime I can do it, Al.
He's John, the guys at the end of the bench on the Al Travis Show.